Here's a look at what's happening in our community. Brought to you by Brandon Ford. Find the biggest selection at the world's largest volume Ford truck dealer.
Presented by your Tampa Bay area Volkswagen dealers. Drive bigger.
Hello, everyone. I'm Holly Gregory.
And I'm Rick Elmhorst. This is your Spectrum News in 90. Jurors in the Nicholas Cruz penalty trial heard closing arguments today. Cruz faces life in prison or the death penalty. The 24-year-old pleaded guilty to killing 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School back in 2018. The jury will begin deliberations in this case this week.
At least 3 Bay Area schools received what appeared to be swatting calls today. Officials say no active shooters were ever found and no students were injured at all. Students at Pinellas Park High School were temporarily evacuated as a precaution so that the classrooms could be searched.
And today is the last day to register to vote in the midterm election. Most mail-in ballots have already been sent out, but if you still need one, you can still request it until October the 29th. Election Day is November the 8th.
That is your news. Time now for your Clystron 9 forecast. Let's start things off. Top of this 5 o'clock hour, Chief Meteorologist Mike Clay. We've got a new named tropical system out there tonight.
11th named storm of the season, but don't worry, no threat to Florida. It is in the Gulf of Mexico, though, and it's way in the Bay of Campeche. This is Tropical Storm Carl, which formed rapidly today. It is sending some moisture up our way. You can see some of the high clouds coming up towards the west coast of Florida. But look where this is going. It's basically not going anywhere for days. By the end of the week, it'll probably barely make landfall in Mexico. Still could produce very heavy rainfall in that mountainous terrain, but expected to stay back in the Bay of Campeche with some of that moisture coming up our way from time to time. And I'll have more on what that means for our forecast for the next few days coming up.
On to our top story now tonight. Area high school students are home safe tonight following several swatting calls to schools here in the Bay Area and all across the state today. Law enforcement got these fake calls at least 3 schools in our area claiming that an active shooter was on campus.
Well, police investigated each school, including here in Pinellas County at Pinellas Park High School, and determined this was a case of swatting. That's when somebody makes a fake call to 911 to draw a response from law enforcement, mainly their SWAT team. Spectrum Bay News 9's Josh Rojas is live at Pinellas Park High School tonight with the latest. Josh?
Police say hoax active shooter calls targeted Pinellas Park High and St. Pete Catholic High Schools this afternoon. Now, as you can imagine, many anxious parents rushed to the schools to check on their kids. The hoax calls also created a large police response, too. That's the whole point of swatting. In an effort to crack down on swatting, Florida passed a law last year reclassifying it from a first-degree misdemeanor to a third-degree felony when a false report causes a response from an agency that exceeds $2,000. Now, if the false report results in injury, it's enhanced to a second-degree felony, and if there's a death, it's a first-degree felony. Law enforcement experts say swatting is not only dangerous for the people involved, but it also takes away precious police resources from investigating other crimes.
Most agencies don't have 2 SWAT teams, okay? Their SWAT team now is deployed to this prank swatting call. And now, heaven forbid, you get a real barricaded subject, or you get a real life-threatening situation like a real active shooter. Your SWAT team is already deployed somewhere else on a bogus incident.
Now, other schools across Florida, including in Orlando, Miami, and Sarasota, were also affected by swatting today. Live in Pinellas Park, Josh Rojas, Spectrum News.
Well, law enforcement officials say they're continuing to investigate the source of these swatting calls.
And now to another big story that we are following for you tonight. Jury deliberations will begin tomorrow in the sentencing trial for Nicholas Cruz.
It's up to jurors to recommend if he faces life in prison or the death penalty. Spectrum Bay News 9's Jeff Allen is live in Brevard County tonight with a look at what happened today. Jeff?
And while prosecutors, they are trying to convince jurors that Cruz should get the death penalty, but his defense attorneys, they are asking jurors to show some mercy and find his punishment to be life in prison instead. Now, Cruz, he pleaded guilty in the killings of 17 people, 14 students and 3 staff members at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, that shooting back in February 2018. For several weeks, prosecutors have presented their evidence, much of it graphic images of those shootings, trying to convince jurors that Cruz should get the death penalty. But his defense attorneys, they have presented evidence that includes evidence that shows that Cruz's mother drank heavily while pregnant with him, causing him to suffer from fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, which they say is the cause of erratic and violent conduct they say ultimately culminated in the shootings. In their closing argument, they argued choosing a death sentence would be choosing revenge, not justice.
Because if that is where you're at, you are more likely to sentence that young man to death. And the law that we all live by tells jurors that we must not make decisions based on passion, emotion, or anger.
Something to transport his rifle, something to transport the vest that contains the magazines. What else? You want to blend in, right? So he gets his JROTC polo shirt to wear. All these details he thought of, and he did.
Sad. It's devastating what he has done, not only to the people that are...
The prosecutor, they are arguing Cruz came up with a tactical and purposeful plan to carry out the shootings, a plan they say was cruel and warrants the death penalty. Now, the jury will be sequestered when they go into those deliberations, so the judge this afternoon instructed them to go home tonight, bring with them what they need tomorrow when they report back to work to figure out their deliberations, because that could last about 2 to 3 days, but it's anyone's guess exactly how long those deliberations will go on for. Reporting live at the Broward County Courthouse, Jeff Allen, Spectrum News.
So many families there in that courthouse watching very closely for that decision. So stay with us as we wait for the end of this case. We will have live coverage when the jury makes that recommendation.
The U.S. Supreme Court rejected an appeal by Dylan Roof. He was convicted back in 2015 on federal murder and hate crimes charges for shooting and killing 9 black members of the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in South Carolina. Roof has tried unsuccessfully to appeal. Roof previously fired his attorneys and represented himself in an effort to block evidence that may have portrayed him as mentally ill.
At 5:07 tonight, it was a very somber day in Polk County today as the sheriff's office, friends and family all said goodbye to Deputy Blaine Lane. That is the young deputy who was killed in the line of duty last week. Sheriff Grady Judd praised Lane for his bravery, and family members shared some of their favorite memories of the deputy. Spectrum Bay News 9's Ashanti Ford has more.
Now, it has been an extremely emotional day today at the funeral services. I'm pretty sure at one point all of us were in tears as we were listening to family and friends of Deputy Lane talk about how much he will be missed and their fondest memories of him.
My heart is shattered.
Deputy Lane's grandfather, Daryl Sodders, struggling to find the words to explain how it feels losing someone like his grandson.
I know that I will never get over this. I love him so much.
There was hardly a dry eye at Victory Church in Lakeland as families shared who Deputy Lane was behind the uniform.
Good morning. My name is Maddox Lane, Blaine Lane's sister.
Each family member, including his baby sister, said Deputy Lane always wanted to be a police officer.
One of my best memories is when we would take the cardboard boxes and make garages for our cop cars to park. We got the biggest thrill. He got the biggest thrill in arresting me, even when I said it hurts. One time Blaine was aggravating me and trying to bite me, so the only black eye Blaine ever had was from me.
Deputy Lane was loved from his family, friends, and fellow brothers and sisters in uniform, who say they are all dedicated to making sure his memory lives on.
Blaine was only allowed to hunt armed men for 8.5 months. But he left a lifetime of honor and respect for the county and the community he loved. I never thought that I would have to say goodbye to Blaine. I prayed one day, far away by the way, that he would say goodbye to me.
Now, Sheriff Grady Judd also expressed his support for the other responding officers that day, saying that they did exactly what they were trained to do. In Polk County, Ashanti Ford, Spectrum News.
The sheriff's office did set up a donation link for the Lane family for anybody who wishes to help out. We've got that link in this story on our website at baynews9.com.
5:09 as we head back to Mike Clay. Check out this weather cam video in downtown Lakeland, looking at Lake Mirror and some pretty cool looking clouds, Mike.
Yeah, we've got a few showers out there from time to time, and those are going to be around as we head through the rest of the evening, and better rain chances coming up the next few days. Let's go to our Madeira Beach camera. This is 1-800-ASK-GARY camera, and you can see how cloudy it is right now, and those showers are popping up from time to time down to the south. Klystron 9 shows some of that activity. We got a couple of showers just north of the airport here, but most of the rain is in the Manatee County area, where we actually have a couple of thunderstorms that have popped up here in eastern sections of Manatee County, north of 70, and you can see a few lightning strikes with this. That's not really moving very much at all. Another area of showers sitting over Sarasota Bay, South Bradenton, Bradenton Bayshore area back into Sarasota. And they are not moving either. So just kind of sitting there producing some rain just about in the exact same spot we saw this in yesterday. Here's a look at the satellite, and we can see clouds sitting across central Florida. High clouds coming in from the southwest. Where are these coming from? New tropical storm Carl, which is formed in the Bay of Campeche. It's really spinning down in here. Forecast to stay kind of tucked down in there for the next couple of days, with some of that moisture coming up our way for better rain chances. Here's the new 5 o'clock advisory on Carl, and it's here now, and it's just going to kind of sit here, coming in south of Tampico, Mexico, north of Veracruz over the next couple of days. A very slow track, locally heavy rain. Right now, the winds are at 40 miles per hour. Back over to our weather, we're warm and muggy. We're well up in the upper 80s in Tampa. And look at the forecast as we roll through the night, and a few pop-up showers around with a light easterly wind. During the day tomorrow, things get more active by afternoon. A few showers in the morning, then a better chance of some showers, maybe some light rain in the afternoon, perhaps heavier at times into tomorrow night and into Thursday. The rain chances continue to build in, and it looks like a good chance of showers and thunderstorms on Thursday too, especially early. Your forecast for tonight: partly cloudy, muggy, isolated showers, low 75. And tomorrow, cloudy, muggy, showers and thunderstorms develop in a high of 85. Back with more on those rain chances and our 7-day shortly, plus Klystron 9.
There's nothing quite like the I-4 corridor. A beautiful stretch of road that connects the Bay Area and Central Florida.
And within the communities that surround it, you'll find a diverse group of voters who'd like to see certain issues addressed.
Supplies have gone up, plastic, foam, you mentioned it.
The fact that we're not understanding that we have to deal with keeping folks in their homes so that they don't become homeless, like, we have to take that on as a serious issue.
So as we get closer and closer to the November elections, we are taking a tour along I-4 to find out what other issues voters want to see addressed.
Catch our Decision 2022 I-4 tour tonight at 7, only on Spectrum News.
Here are your winning lottery numbers.
Today, the city of Tampa held its 34th annual Hispanic Heritage Celebration, recognizing the contributions Hispanics have made and continue to make here in the Bay Area.
And tonight, we want to introduce you to one man who is devoted to serving the community. Spectrum Bay News 9's Dahlia Dangerfield shows us why he is the 2022 Hispanic Man of the Year.
What's your name?
Dante.
Dante?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, man. So, hey, I just wanted to, can I give you a free umbrella, man?
Yeah.
On a beautiful day in downtown Tampa, banker Anthony Perez is handing out red umbrellas. It's part of a mission he's on to help the homeless.
To homeless, an umbrella provides essentially a little bit of housing, a little bit of shelter.
Not long ago, Anthony started a nonprofit called Covered Hearts. Gaslights Park is his very first stop.
Norman, can I give you an umbrella?
Here, Anthony learns Norman sleeps in the woods at night. Norman says there are no room in the shelters. It's why Anthony would love to build housing for the homeless. In fact, that's the goal of all of this.
We're beginning with umbrellas, and then, as soon as possible, we get into housing, because, like you said, there's a need for it. And then we can look back and be like, hey, it all started with an umbrella.
Anthony got the idea for his nonprofit 4 years ago when he gave an umbrella to someone who needed help. Having troubles of his own in the past, Anthony knows what it's like to need a hand.
It's important that they know that somebody cares.
That open and giving heart Anthony wears on his shirt is why he's being recognized in the city of Tampa this year. Anthony is the Hispanic Man of the Year. After giving out a few umbrellas, he put on his suit to celebrate his culture with the city.
I'm what they call a first-generation American. Immigrant parents that fled communist Cuba, who sacrificed everything for me to have a life full of opportunity.
Now a successful banker, Anthony cherishes the legacy his parents left behind, and he's excited to pass it on.
Of all the wonderful opportunities I've had in my life, I've come to the conclusion that nothing is as rewarding as giving.
And while being the Hispanic Man of the Year is great, Anthony may have discovered something even greater: an umbrella. In Tampa, I'm Dahlia Dangerfield for Spectrum News.
In addition to Anthony Perez's nonprofit, he serves on the Mayor's Hispanic Advisory Council and serves as chairman for the USF Latin Scholarship Advisory Committee. A celebration will be held to honor his achievements on October 21st.
I just don't understand people who turn their back on it all.
After a spring of sold-out shows, the play Anne returns to the studio at 620 in St. Petersburg. I'm Virginia Johnson. Coming up, we talk to local actor Bonnie Aiken about embodying this icon. Stay with us.
Coming up tonight on Spectrum Sports 360, the Rays still believe the future is bright.
Our recent success is not a fluke. There's plenty of reasons to see optimism when we look ahead.
We look back at Tampa Bay's 2022 season and why the front office feels good about the team moving forward. Catch that and more tonight, 10:30, right here on Spectrum Bay News 9. Now for a look at your forecast, here's your weather on the 9s.
Here's what we're talking about with weather on the 9s. Our rain chances are going up for the next couple of days, and we will look at that. We're also looking at finally some drier air coming in on Friday. And Tropical Storm Carl has formed in the Bay of Campeche in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, and we'll look at that as well. This old front is stalled out in our area. It's still producing a few showers right now, but the moisture from the new tropical storm is going to spread up our way. The storm is not going anywhere. It's just going to sit down here in the southwestern Gulf. Look how quickly it formed. This goes back 24 hours, and you can see some energy that came up from the Pacific, and there it is. And it's just sitting there, spinning, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's got 40-mile-per-hour winds, and it's going to ease back towards the coast of Mexico over the next couple of days. Likely producing very heavy rainfall. The spaghetti plot, the models are in good agreement. Some kind of loop it around, some kind of push it ashore. The bottom line is it sits there, but the moisture comes our way at least for tomorrow and at least for Thursday before we get some drier air in here on Friday. So here's what that looks like. There's the moisture around for shower and thunderstorm chances into Thursday. Then the drier air comes in briefly for Friday. There's still Carl sitting back to the southwest. Into Saturday, nice looking weather, maybe a stray shower on Sunday. We get a little moisture back in here, and then another shot of dry air as we head into Monday and Tuesday. This is next Tuesday, and whatever's left of Carl is still sitting here down towards South Texas. So it's going to be around for a while. Here's our forecast. For tonight, clouds with a few showers, just a slight chance, lows 70 to 77, muggy air. Marine forecast for tomorrow, the winds will be offshore, then becoming south, a light to moderate chop. A few showers around. Here is the 7-day forecast as I see it. Rain chances are at 60% for tomorrow and Thursday, then dropping on Friday. Into Saturday, the dry air gets here. A little moisture on Sunday, and then drying out again and cooling down some Monday into Tuesday. Now, Cholesterol 9.
I'm Roy de Jesus with your latest To the Point Already podcast, Hispanic Heritage in Tampa Bay. I speak to community leaders promoting the rich culture and how it's shaped the Bay Area. We dive into some of the history in organizing to celebrate, explore ways to engage younger generations, and talk about the best ways to tell our story.
It's been hard for us to keep track of all the different nuances, the dialogues, the dialects, there's too many. So we kind of put it together in a pretty package under the Hispanic Heritage Inc. umbrella.
We're finding out that a lot of women were not finding out about what we were doing and not being able to use the funds. So to be proactive, we're reaching out to those younger people, to younger parents.
It's important that we use whatever tools, whatever means we have in order to continue celebrating the people and the culture and the combination of those two.
You can watch or listen right now at BayNews9.com or the Spectrum News app. And if you listen wherever you get podcasts, be sure to like and subscribe.
Hey, if you missed out on one of the sold-out shows this spring, now is your chance to see the play, Anne.
It's about Texas Governor Ann Richards. She was a rarity for a Texas governor, a woman and a Democrat at the helm of the Lone Star State. Our Virginia Johnson went on the town to studio at 6:20 to find out more about this encore performance.
And I'm going to cut to the chase. The government isn't they. The government is you and me. It's all of us.
The hair is where she finds her.
There we go. There's Ann.
Bonnie Aiken is playing Texas Governor Ann Richards, a Democrat in the early 1990s.
I remember seeing her and I was just mesmerized by her. You know, we just didn't see women doing stuff like that back then. And she broke the mold, you know, for what women could do.
Aiken is walking in Richards' footsteps, and it feels pretty good.
This was her big launch.
Born with a silver foot in his mouth.
Aiken performed Anne in the spring to sold-out audiences right here at the studio at 620 in St. Pete, matching her costume down to the star on her dress and her pearl jewelry.
So she navigated a lot of new territory that women hadn't done yet.
And not since.
I mean, I just don't understand people who turn their back on it all.
Her message: get involved in government and vote, or let others make decisions for you.
You have the power to call them out. Call them down.
The power is in each person, and each vote counts, even hers.
A Democrat, a woman, a divorced woman. I mean, that was in conservative macho Texas, so that was an exception.
In St. Petersburg, Virginia Johnson, Spectrum News.
The final one of the show begins tomorrow night, and it goes to this weekend. Performances begin at 8 p.m., and the Sunday matinee is at 2 p.m. General admission, $25, and $5 of each ticket purchase is going to support Hurricane Ian relief efforts.
There is a new ride coming to Busch Gardens. This is the Serengeti Flyer, and it's going to be the park's newest attraction, set to open in the spring.
Busch Gardens says this will be the world's tallest and fastest ride of its kind. Park officials say with each swing, riders are going to soar over the park, experiencing multiple negative G movements before plunging back to earth. If you've got a weak stomach, not sure that's for you.
Probably not, but those brave enough to try it will reach speeds of 68 miles an hour and a maximum height of 135 feet. Riders will be seated back to back in rows of 10 with enough space to allow for 40 people to ride at once. And don't forget, you can check out the latest news from Florida's theme parks on our Attractions Insider podcast. Get the inside scoop right now on the Spectrum News app or wherever you listen to podcasts.